Hey, if you're tuning in, chances are you're a motorcycle enthusiast, or maybe you're doing research and trying to find out more about one of these. This is a mini bike. More exactly, it's a Lifan KP Mini 150, and it's like the Honda Groms and Kawasaki Z125s, and it's actually a lot of fun. So in the background, you will also see that I have an FJR 1300, which is a great sport touring bike, great for long trips, very fast. It's like the adult version of a sports bike, I would say. Not super racetrack kind of sports bike, but definitely can keep up with the fastest bikes. Also, this is a Honda CB750, also known as the Nighthawk. It's a standard bike, pretty easy to ride, well balanced, kind of good at a lot of things, maybe not the most excellent at any specific thing. But that bike is 650 pounds before I start putting on luggage cases. This one is over 500 pounds. This one's only 225. This is the perfect thing if you're just thinking about getting into motorcycling. And with that little weight, doesn't have too much power compared to these bikes, it's a great way to start riding and giving it a try. And it's also fairly easy on the pocketbook. You can do your research. However, as much as I like this guy, and now riding those, I also ride a Kawasaki Vulcan 750 occasionally. It's a cruiser bike. Kind of cool to be just going down the highway laid back and maybe commuting to work occasionally. This is a lot of fun, but I think there's a few things need to be improved on it or done differently, and that's kind of what we're going to focus on this video. So you probably wanted to watch this video because you wanted to find out whether this thing is even worth buying, and you probably wanted to find some information about doing some modifications to the lights or turn signals on this particular KP Mini 150. But let me be upfront with you. I am not a professional blogger, video maker. As a matter of fact, the reason I'm doing this is because there's only one other guy that I found on YouTube that does pretty good videos on these bikes. You can look up small engine velocity. He took the time to make videos for lots of various different things on these bikes, and I think they're worth watching. But otherwise, some of these videos that are out there are terrible. They look like somebody's giving birth to an accident or something. What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at relocating these blinker signals or turn signals, which apparently were kind of done as an afterthought to meet US DOT regulations. And while I love the bike, what is annoying is that if you're gonna make hard turns, you probably can see this blinker starting to hit my knee over here. Also, what I wanna do is upgrade the headlight. The headlight that comes on the bike is a halogen bulb. It's okay for nighttime riding, but hey, with new technology that we have today, why wouldn't you want like a super bright LED beam? If you're somebody that's kind of trying to figure out what these bikes are all about, let me tell you this much. So first of all, this will cost you about 2,000 bucks to get into riding it. Plus your local fees for title and registration, and if your state requires insurance. That 2,000 bucks compared, this is for a brand new bike that you get in a crate and you have some minimal assembly to it. If you're mechanically inclined or you have friends that are mechanically inclined, hey, you could make it like a fun weekend project, which is what I did. Compared to a Honda Grom, that's probably 1/3 to 1/2 less price. The Honda Grom, hey, I have a Honda that's 28 years old. I mean, it runs like a champ. You can't beat Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki quality for the most part. This is a Chinese bike, but it's earned a pretty good reputation. It's earned a place. The Honda will be fuel injected. This was carbureted, but one of the main reasons I got it is because I wanted to teach some family members, and I did not think it was a good idea for them to get on a 500+ motorcycle, and if they lose their balance, I mean, it's going to throw them to the ground and possibly hurt them really bad. That 500 pounds, when they first try to put their body on it and wiggle it around, it's intimidating. I mean, it should be. Motorcycling can be very, very dangerous. You're not in a metal cage and you could get yourself killed. So I live with that reality every day. I don't take it lightly. But this particular motorcycle, and I'm gonna refer to it that it's a real motorcycle. If you're wondering, this isn't like a little scooter. This isn't a circus toy. This isn't a clown car or a clown motorcycle. It has a rear disc brake that actually works pretty good. It has disc front brakes. I mean, I couldn't ask for more in that price range. It has, you know, real throttle controls, on starter button. It has hazard lights. It has real headlight low and high beam. You have a clutch as well as a shifter, and the shifter works like almost any motorcycle out there. I mean, it's actually a 5-speed, which I was pretty impressed with, and it's 150 cc's. I mean, it's not gonna keep up with the big boys, but I had this, I've been riding it several hundred miles, and I had this to a top speed of about 60 miles an hour. So it's more than plenty to get you started. It is more compact in size, which you could see I'm an average 5'10" adult, but honestly, even though I have these I mean 10 times almost more expensive motorcycle and so on, I still have fun with this, and I think it's a good bang for the buck. But there is those things that I mentioned, and maybe some other ones in the future that I would like to improve upon, and that might be also the reason you clicked and wanted to see this video. So let's let me put my harness, chest harness on for the GoPro, and let's get started. Okay, so here's this mini bike more up close, and the build quality of this one is overall much better than I expected. I mean, I'm a mechanic, so I tweaked with some things, and without being too obsessive, kind of made some of my improvements and adjustments and just try to make it the best that it's going to be. But honestly, I couldn't expect any better, and it surpassed my expectations. So I would definitely recommend it for those of you that are looking at getting one. This one is referred to as sort of like silver and black, I think, just because it's white and has many colors. Okay, this is what it looks like sitting on the bike. And it's, you know, compact, but it's like a real motorcycle. It's kind of more like from the genre of motorcycles or classification of the naked street bikes or street fighter bikes, obviously with much limited power. By the way, let me turn it on. Let me give you a little close up to it. So it's a digital speedometer. Believe it or not, this thing has a gear indicator, a fuel gauge, and a rev display. Now, they're a little laggy, you know, a little slow in response. Probably the most useful thing is a gear indicator, especially for somebody learning. Like a relative of mine is trying to learn, and, you know, changing gears on a motorcycle is a new thing to them. The fuel gauge, I think it's a little paranoid. It thinks it's empty when it still should have quite a bit more fuel than it indicates left. And the speedometer is definitely probably off by a good 10%. You're not going as fast as it's saying it's going, but it's still a lot of fun. Hey guys, if anybody thinks that this video will be helpful to you, has good information, or helps you learn about these bikes, do me a favor, hit subscribe, hit like, leave a comment. This is just gonna let me know if it's worth making these videos. And but I think this, for example, motorcycle is a great way for people to get into something that many of us enjoy, but you don't have to take a big loan or anything like that to get into motorcycling.